Welcome to Pinoy Guard. In a major boost to maritime security and regional cooperation, the Philippines is set to receive 5 brand new Teresa Magbanua-class vessels from Japan, starting in 2027. This landmark development coincides with the official visit of Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, who met with Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and toured the Philippine Coast Guard headquarters in Manila. More than just ships, this project symbolizes Japan's enduring support for Philippine maritime modernization and underscores the deepening defense and security ties between the two nations. In this in-depth report, we'll dive into everything you need to know. What makes the Teresa Magbanua-class so vital for the PCG? The full details of Japan's new ODA-backed delivery. Prime Minister Ishiba's visit and military diplomacy. The new ASCA defense pact in the works. And the broader context of regional deterrence in the South China Sea. Let's begin. The Teresa Magbanua-class is currently the Philippine Coast Guard's largest and most advanced vessel type. With a length of 97 meters and a displacement of over 2,260 tons, it is categorized as a multi-role response vessel, BRV, designed to perform a wide range of missions such as search and rescue, law enforcement, maritime patrol, and humanitarian assistance. The lead ship of the class, the BRP Teresa Magbanua MRRV 9701, was commissioned in May 2022, followed later that year by her sister ship, the BRP Melchora Aquino MRRV 9702. Both vessels were constructed in Japan by Mitsubishi Shipbuilding under a grant and soft loan mechanism from Japan's Official Development Assistance (ODA). Key features of the class include a large flight deck that supports helicopter operations, modern navigation, radar, and communication systems, a water cannon system for fire suppression or crowd control, high-speed maneuverability, and long-range endurance. The Teresa Magbanua-class serves as the PCG's flagship platform for major deployments, especially in contested waters like the West Philippine Sea. Their size and capability have proven invaluable not only in regular maritime patrols, but also during typhoon disaster response, environmental protection, and high-profile maritime incidents, such as Chinese harassment of Philippine vessels near Ayungin Shoal and Scarborough Shoal. Now, with Japan funding the delivery of 5 more Teresa Magbanua-class ships, the PCG will effectively expand its presence and operational tempo across the archipelago, especially in remote regions and strategic choke points. This expansion is part of the Philippines' broader Coast Guard modernization plan, which aims to transform the service into a fully capable maritime enforcement agency that can complement the Philippine Navy and deter foreign encroachments, all while staying non-military in character. But why is Japan doing this? And what exactly happened during Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba's visit? On April 30th, 2025, Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba made a high-profile visit to Manila, beginning a 2-day official state tour that centered on maritime cooperation, defense partnership, and regional peace. Upon arrival, he was warmly received at the Philippine Coast Guard headquarters and port area, Manila, by PCG Commandant Admiral Ronnie Gilgavin. The reception was more than symbolic. During the visit, the Japanese delegation toured the BRP Teresa Magbanua and even participated in an Aikido demonstration on board, a unique expression of shared discipline and cultural diplomacy. It was no coincidence that the BRP Teresa Magbanua, the lead ship in the class funded by Japan, was chosen as the setting. It reflects Japan's growing role as a strategic maritime partner for the Philippines. According to PCG officials, the 5 new ships will also be Teresa Magbanua-class vessels, likely constructed in Japan by the same shipbuilder. This upcoming delivery will be funded by a new tranche of ODA loans, continuing Japan's long-standing support of Philippine infrastructure, transport, and maritime safety projects. Japan is currently the largest source of ODA for the Philippines and one of its top trading partners. But over the last 5 years, it has also emerged as a critical defense partner. Prime Minister Ishiba's visit came with a clear agenda to reaffirm Tokyo's commitment to Philippine security amid China's assertive actions in the West Philippine Sea, and to offer Japan's growing defense industrial base as a reliable partner for Philippine modernization. In his bilateral meeting with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., both leaders agreed to accelerate the defense partnership and deepen interoperability between their armed forces and maritime law enforcement agencies. A key highlight of the visit was the announcement that negotiations would begin for a new Acquisition and Cross-Servicing Agreement, ASCA, a deal that would allow Japanese and Philippine forces to exchange logistical support, such as fuel, spare parts, ammunition, and disaster relief supplies, during joint activities or emergencies. This move brings the Philippines closer to a full reciprocal defense partnership with Japan, on par with Japan's agreements with the United States and Australia. And this isn't just about ships and documents. Japan is also offering new radar systems for maritime and air surveillance, communications equipment to enhance interoperability, support for training programs, and Coast Guard academies. The defense relationship is maturing quickly, and it's no longer limited to Coast Guard exchanges. It now involves strategic planning, joint exercises, and the creation of mutual logistical pipelines. Let's take a step back and examine why these developments matter and what their implications are in the broader Indo-Pacific region. First, let's talk numbers. With the current delivery of 5 additional Teresa Magbanua-class vessels, the PCG will operate 7 large offshore patrol ships of this class by the early 2030s. This will effectively triple the PCG's deepwater response capability and give it the ability to maintain a sustained presence in the West Philippine Sea, especially around contested features like Pag-asa Island, Ayanjan Shoal, Panataku, Scarborough Shoal. This presence is key because China's maritime militia and Coast Guard vessels have intensified their harassment of Filipino fishermen and resupply missions in those waters. The Teresa Magbanua-class is ideal for monitoring Chinese gray zone operations, escorting civilian vessels and fishing fleets, supporting the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources (BFAR), responding to accidents or aggressive actions at sea. They are large enough to handle rough seas and carry supplies for extended missions, yet remain civilian in nature, which avoids direct military escalation. Second, the ASCA agreement with Japan, if signed, will mark a strategic milestone. Why? Because Japan's pacifist constitution traditionally limited its overseas military engagements. But under its new national security strategy, Japan is now proactively engaging in defense diplomacy with partners like the Philippines, especially those along the First Island chain, which stretches from Japan to Taiwan to the Philippines. With ASCA, Japanese forces could preposition supplies or provide logistical backup to Philippine vessels in crisis situations. It would also make it easier to stage joint humanitarian missions, coordinate rescue operations during natural disasters, and provide emergency resupply in contested zones. Third, Japan's cooperation sends a clear message to China. The Philippines is not standing alone. Through a network of allies that includes the United States, Australia, South Korea, and now Japan, Manila is building a coalition of partners who are committed to maintaining freedom of navigation and upholding international law in the South China Sea. The ships, radars, and logistics agreements are not just tools. They are signals. Signals that the Philippines is serious about defending its rights, that it is investing in capacity, and that it is strengthening the rules-based order. Lastly, the expansion of the PCG fleet fits well into the Marcos administration's broader national defense modernization, which includes the shore-based anti-ship missile system SBSMS from India, the delivery of new frigates and corvettes under the Navy's Horizon 3 plan, the integration of air and maritime assets through the unified command structure. In essence, this is not an isolated project. It's part of a larger, strategic realignment. According to PCG insiders and Japanese government statements, the construction of the 5 new Teresa Magbanua-class ships will begin in late 2025, with the first vessel expected for delivery in early 2027. All 5 ships are likely to be completed by 2029, with staggered delivery dates to allow for crew training, simulator-based exercises, sea trials, and operational testing integration with existing PCG command systems. The total cost of the project has not been officially disclosed, but based on the first 2 Magbanua-class ships, the 5 new units are estimated to cost around 18 Cuban pesos to 20 billion Cuban pesos in total, or approximately $320 million US, depending on final configurations. The vessels will be financed via ODA loans from Japan, with repayment terms that include low interest rates, below 1%, long grace periods, up to 10 years, generous amortization terms, up to 30 years. In short, this is a cost-effective, strategic investment for the Philippines, acquiring high-end platforms at concessional terms without sacrificing defense priorities. In parallel with ship construction, the Philippine Coast Guard will also receive technical assistance from Japanese maritime experts, expanded access to Japan Coast Guard training facilities, support in setting up maintenance and repair infrastructure for large vessels. The goal is to ensure the PCG doesn't just acquire ships, it builds long-term institutional capacity to operate, maintain, and expand its fleet for the future. In summary, the Philippine Coast Guard's upcoming acquisition of 5 more Teresa Magbanua-class vessels is not just another hardware delivery, it's a symbol of deepening strategic ties between the Philippines and Japan. From joint Aikido demonstrations to high-level defense pacts, this is a partnership that blends trust, tradition, and future-oriented defense planning. The ships will increase the PCG's ability to patrol the West Philippine Sea, respond to maritime emergencies, and deter coercive actions, all while enhancing the country's standing as a responsible, sovereign state that upholds international law. With the impending ASCA agreement, Japanese and Philippine forces are set to become interoperable in logistics and support, paving the way for a new era of defense diplomacy in the Indo-Pacific. And amid the growing tensions in the region, this cooperation sends a powerful message. The Philippines is not alone, and the world is watching. Stay tuned to Pinoy Guard as we follow this story closely. From shipbuilding updates to regional deployments, we'll keep you informed about every wave of progress.